Sitting there watching the stock market, you're going, what, is this nuts? Market goes up 700 points. Next day it goes up 800 points. Then the market goes back down. Then it goes back up. What that is volatility.
You want to invest your money and grow your wealth. How do you invest intelligently?
But you got to anticipate what's going to happen with the market. And that's what we give you. Information so you can anticipate in advance what the market's going to do, so you know what stocks to buy, you know what stocks to short. It's all about having good information and anticipation. You got to anticipate. The one thing you can't do is rely on your brokers. Listen.
Our responsibility begins and ends with our partners and our shareholders, and that's it.
What are you, nuts? Partners and shareholders? You're not included.
Check out the free 10-day trial and follow Phil to investing success. Learn more at philsgang.com. philsgang.com.
I've signed up, and I've learned an incredible amount from Phil and Steve. The staff at Phil's Gang gives platinum-level service and stock recommendations. You know, it's as simple as that. At the end of a month or so, I've always been in the black. Phil's Gang is a class act. I'm happy to be a member.
Find out more at philsgang.com or call 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. That's 877-600-4264.
I've been a Phil's Gang member since 2014. Over that time, I've generated over six-figure profits. Following Phil, his charting system has really been a huge impact on my career and my life. I would recommend Phil's Gang to the mom and pop out there. I would recommend it to parents teaching their children. I would recommend it to grandparents. If you really trust in their system, you will do well.
For more information, go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-4264. Why are investors listening to Phil Grande of philsgang.com?
You know why people listen to my show? Because I make it simple. When you talk about the stock market, they make it so complicated. I make it easy to understand. For the average investor, the Main Street investor, most of the time, these guys, like they're talking to each other. We talk directly to you and we listen to you.
Invest better with the sound advice of Phil Grande at philsgang.com. You want to invest your money and grow your wealth. How do you invest intelligently? Become a Phil's Gang member and receive the training, advice, and software that will take your investing to the next level. Our team is comprised of successful investors, all with proven track records. Phil's Gang software is easy to use, painless to navigate, and tells you exactly when to buy and sell to help maximize profits. Learn about common market mistakes and how to minimize them. Phil's Gang has successfully taught tens of thousands of investors how to navigate the market with confidence. You don't need to be a seasoned investor to benefit from the Phil's Gang platform. The stocks discussed on Phil's Gang are not in any way a recommendation or solicitation to buy, sell, or hold. If considering acting on information presented, we first recommend you seek out a competent, licensed professional for advice. Get ready for the radio show that tells you what Wall Street doesn't want you to know.
Oh, I'm a money magnet. Money, money, money's coming to me. Money sets me free. I'm a money magnet. Money, 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 money's coming to me.
It's your daily dose of how to manage your money. And now it's time for Phil's Gang on the Off the Wall Street Radio Network. With your host, Phil Grande.
And good afternoon and welcome to Phil's Gang Radio Show and Podcast. It's Friday. So, wait a minute. How come Powell all of a sudden said yesterday, wait a minute, we can't, we're going to hold the rates here. We're not going to cut anymore. That's not what he said 17 days ago. Also today, I always tell my gang members, don't follow fundamentals, a waste of time. Follow the money. And I got a great cut for you. They're talking about how you find out if economic growth is going to go up or not, GDP. They show you how to do it. I don't think, no, I don't have my cuts up yet. Listen to this. This is amazing.
Now, the next thing you have to do is you have to put those into logarithms and differentiate them. And then you get something that you can handle. And that is M plus V equals P plus Y.
And he goes on and on explaining the fundamentals and how you use them to identify stocks. In this case, how do you identify if the economy's going to grow? What are you, nuts? All you have to do is follow the money flow. That's all you have to do. Follow the money. I mean, you don't need to know about the price to sales, price to book, free cash flow, turn on equity, that's nuts. You don't need that. With the technology today, all you have to do is follow the institutional money. Wherever that money goes, you go. Okay, so Trump hasn't been president for a very long time. He's doing a lot of good things, shaking everybody up. But everyone has to understand. I know everybody's happy. I'm delighted that he's president. But everyone's forgetting what he took on. Remember, he took on some of the biggest debt in history. He took on deficits that are going to continue to take these yields and rally them. It's amazing how investors sit here and they think, well, yields are going to come down now. We don't have to worry about yields. Yields have a high probability going to 5%. And when you get to 5 or 5.5, that's crash time, okay? We already hit 5 a couple of times in 24. And we're going to hit 5 again. Yields are coming down. Bull. You're going to get caught. And everybody's jumping in all the stocks that yields are coming down. I love that. I love how they take parking space in your head. Well, these are the stocks you should be in when yields are down. These are the stocks you should be in when yields are up. Like it works. Give me a break. That doesn't work anymore. It doesn't. So they'll tell you, well, if there's high yields, then make sure you're in bank stocks. How many people bought bank stocks where there's high yield and they got crushed? Doesn't work that way anymore. We always hear about, when yields are high, that's telling us the future for our economy is terrific. We got a great future. Go and buy. That never works. You realize to have yields going up and to have the stock market rallying and to have a good dollar and to good jobs, that's almost impossible. High yields are never good for anything. High yields is a killer. High interest rates is a killer. And going back to what I was saying about everybody's all giddy, and I'm the first one that said, look, I think the S&P can go to 6,200 from here. Then it's going to turn around and it's going to come down. It's going to hit its November low. And once it goes through that November low, we're in for about a 40% correction. And that is definitely going to happen. But remember, when he became president the first time around, we had a 50% rally, 50% just on the giddiness. But most people don't understand what he inherited. And most people don't understand why yields will go up. And yields going up are a killer. They've always been a killer. I mean, again, the 10-year Treasury yield, there is no way it's going to go down. Why do you think Powell, all of a sudden, remember in January 15th, he came out, and that's the day that Biden was giving his farewell address. That's when we had that 700-point rally. And I told everybody then, this is rigged for the farewell address. They made that 700% rally. They engineered it for the farewell address. And that was the day he came out, Powell, and said, oh, did you see this? Look, inflation's coming down. Wow, this is wonderful. Look at this. Inflation's down. When 4 weeks before that, he said in December, oh, my God, for 4 years I've been trying to hit my target 2%. I can't do it because of inflation. 4 weeks later, he turns around and says, this is great. Inflation's coming down. Everything's terrific, right? Market rally. And then yesterday, and then he said, remember, I'm going to now continue my rate cuts, going right into 2025. We're going to go back and resume the 25 basis point cuts because everything's wonderful. Yields are coming down. This is terrific. Then yesterday he says, no, we're going to hold on here. Well, wait a minute, hold on. That was just 17 days ago. What's changed? Nothing's really changed. December, when he made the first statement about inflation going up and he can't fix it, and now yesterday basically saying inflation's going up, he can't fix it. The only exception was January 15th when he lied and rigged the market for the farewell address. So just remember what's going on here. We have the worst deficits, and and those deficits are going to get worse and worse and worse. The federal government spending has gone wild. It hasn't stopped just because Trump took office. Spending is out of control. Spending's gone wild. Spending keeps exceeding our revenues. What are you, nuts? So they have to keep issuing debt. Have to keep, hey, anybody want to buy our bonds? Anybody want to buy our bonds? Like wartime, for God's sakes. So the more they keep issuing debt, and the borrowing is nuts. We've never seen borrowing like this. And remember, that's inflationary. So to think that rates are going to go down, you're out of your mind. We never borrowed like this. Very inflationary. And that borrowing is screwing our grandkids, our children, with higher debt. It's going to make them poor. We're not living as well as our parents did. Now they're going to even live worse. Thank God Trump came in to hope he can stop this. Now remember, as the debt grows, government borrowing has been getting worse, been getting more expensive because remember, countries who loan us money are saying, I want higher rates because you don't have the ability to pay back. You don't have the ability to pay back. So the rates we're paying is nuts. And they no longer can go and borrow money from the repo market where they used to buy a one-year treasury bill, low rate. That's gone. They don't have any money left. And remember what's going on. As the debt keeps growing, and it's going to keep growing, and government's going to keep borrowing, and the borrowing's going to keep getting more expensive, yields are going to keep going up because of it, and watch these deficits. Unbelievable. And when Treasury holders, these debt holders, they're starting to doubt the government right now, our government, United States government, that we can pay this back. And look what's going on. I talked about it yesterday. Look what's going on with Japan and China and other countries. They're taking their 10-year treasuries, their treasuries rather, that's in their inventory on their balance sheet, and they're selling them. That makes yields go up. It's just the opposite of QE. It destroys, remember what happens, it destroys the value of their currency. So the more debt we issue, that debt devalues the currencies of the people we borrow from, causing yields to increase. So they're dumping. And nobody's talking about any of this. No one's talking about it. And also when they lie about how the job numbers are terrific. Remember the 800,000 jobs they lied about? Well, why'd they do that? Because they were masking what was going on, which was stagflation. So they were masking the stagflation, so they had to create all these fake jobs. Well, the problem, they create these fake job numbers and they give them to us the first Friday of the month, and everybody goes, oh, look at this. Wow, this is terrific. Look at this. Wow, jobs are up big time. Wow, 150,000 more than we thought. Well, guess what? It's inflationary. So people get into the wrong stocks because it was a lie. So they say, oh my God, this is inflationary, so I better make sure I get into the right stocks that I make money when it's inflationary. I mean, it's unbelievable what they're doing. So the government is in real deep trouble. And the other thing, when the government keeps borrowing like this, it crowds out Main Street. It means they keep borrowing, interest rates go up. So you're a little entrepreneur, you own a restaurant, you're doing terrific, you got 50 tables, now you want to build another 50 tables, you go to the bank, and interest rates are up the yin-yang. You can't borrow. It's called crowding out. because the government keeps borrowing. And when the government borrows and they can't go to the repo market to buy a 1-year treasury yield for almost nothing, now they got to keep borrowing. That means businesses. You own a business, you need money for inventory. You go to the bank. You go, what the hell is this? I'm not going to, wait a minute. I was here 2 months ago, I was paying 6%. Now it's 8%. What's going on? Well, because the government keeps on crowding you out. So Trump has got to bring this spending under control. He's the only one who can do it. A rise in debt will cut our living standards even more. Joe Biden and that moron, the giddy laugh there, Harris, you know, since they were in office for 4 years, the rise in the debt from those two characters cut living expenses by, our living standards went down by 20%. Our living standards went down. I can't believe somebody was going to vote for Harris with living standards going down. So Trump has got to really work on, I love all the things he's doing, but man, he's got to cut spending big time. So the stock market, okay, again, it's struggling to go higher. It really is. But think about this. January's coming to a close. We gained about 2.5%. But here's the sad part. 6 of 10 stocks are down. Think of it this way here. We went up 2.5%. Everybody's giddy about it. But look at the breadth. 303 of the 500 S&P stocks were down. What are you, nuts? That's horrible. We got terrible breadth. And I'm not talking about salami breath. I'm talking about market breath. So think about it. How come Powell did not cut rates yesterday when he was bragging, when he created that 700-point rally? Oh, things are just wonderful. Inflation's coming down. No, it's not. No, it's not. Now, one of the biggest problems where he lied to us on the 15th of January, and he lied again yesterday, he's not telling people the truth. He keeps increasing the money supply. The money supply is up 5%. And why does he do that? Because under Biden and Harris, the economy wasn't growing. So they said, let's turn around and increase the money supply, and then you call the banks and tell them to start lending. That's fine if productivity equals the increase in money supply. But those dopes said, no, we'll just increase the money supply even though productivity is down. You can't do that. So you really got to know what stocks to be in. At the end of the day, you really need to know what's it. And it really gets confusing for everybody out there if they're following fundamentals. And every broker wants you to follow fundamentals because they know you know nothing about fundamentals. You got to hire them. You don't have to know a damn thing about fundamentals to make a good decision. You follow the money. How do you do that? I'll tell you when I come back.
Want more information on this show? Go to philsgang.com or give them a call at 877-600-GANG.
At St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, we're fighting against childhood cancer every day. At the heart of this battle are our donors.
Most of us want to make some type of difference in the lives of others. St. Jude does miraculous work.
The fact that no one has to pay, it's a place where everyone is treated as an equal.
Everybody is welcome here, and it doesn't matter your religion or what part of the world you're from, all that is taken away. It just gives you some hope.
It's just a nice feeling to put your energy into something that really does genuinely make a difference in a child's life.
money supply keeps increasing. And unfortunately, Trump took all this on. And what does that mean, money supply is increasing? Money supply acts like a financial indicator. Money supply increases inflation because it increases yields. There is no hope that yields are going to keep going down. We got a higher probability of yields going to 5%, even 5.5%, than going lower. There's just too many things against it. Deficits, tax cuts, tariffs, increased money supply, no repo access to get cheap money, aggressive job numbers, too much debt issuance. I mean, God, all we do is keep on borrowing and borrowing and borrowing. We're devaluating everybody's currencies, so they're dumping treasuries. That brings yields up again. So all this nonsense. But anyways, so money supply is key. And it's not good. And what was going on with that? Well, Biden during the election was telling Powell, look, keep increasing the money supply, then call the banks and tell them to start lending, expand credit. Okay, to expand credit, increase lending so we can grow the economy. And man, I'm in a tough election here. I got to do something. Well, that was a terrible thing to do. Because when you increase the money supply, you have to make sure when you increase it, productivity is going up the same amount as you're increasing the money supply. You see how it works? That's how it works. Or otherwise you're screwed, causing inflation again. That did occur. And what happened when he did that? When Biden, he didn't care. He's trying to get elected. So he said, just keep on pumping money in, keep increasing the money supply, tell the banks, lend, lend, lend. Well, what happened is more money ended up chasing the same amount of goods and services. Prices rose. Purchasing power went down. Are you nuts? What also occurred was slow growth, high unemployment, and they kept trying to mask it by lying. Remember the 813,000 jobs? Every month, first Friday, they would lie about the jobs. They were trying to mask what was going on, where you had slow growth, high unemployment, rising inflation. You know what that's called? Stagflation. It's dangerous. Stagflation is dangerous. Trump knows it. So we were going through the process of stagflation, but nobody would talk about it. Nobody would tell the truth because it's scary. What is stagflation? A perfect storm of bad news, economic news. That's what inflation is. Anybody ever ask, what's stagflation? Just tell them it's a bunch of bad, it's a perfect storm of bad economic news, man. It's high unemployment. But see, they always masked the high unemployment. Remember how they always gave us bigger job numbers and they would, the next month they would readjust them down? That's how they tried to mask it. We had slow economic growth. We had high inflation. Biden's financial buddy, Bernstein, who is his top financial aide since he's been vice president, he made sure he would keep masking it by inflating the job numbers. That's how he went from 813,000 jobs in March 2023 to a fake 2024, that 1 year, March to March. That's how he tried to mask it, because stagflation is a terrible thing. And it just started to occur as we were going into the election. Trump knows it. Why do you think Trump won? Because while they didn't tell us we were in stagflation, they didn't come out and say, look, we have high unemployment, slow economic growth, high inflation, that's stagflation, we're screwed. People felt it. People felt it. That's how Trump won. People felt stagflation. They didn't know what it is. They didn't know what stagflation meant. Nobody brought it up to their attention, but that's what they were feeling. High unemployment, slow economic growth, and high inflation. But what they were being told every day, there's no unemployment. We're growing like crazy, and there's no inflation. It's coming down. And who engineered this? The idiot, Biden's financial guy, Bernstein. You ever remember this guy here? I play that cut. Play Bernstein's cut for me. This guy's a moron. He knows nothing. And he was advising the president.
There is no question that the government prints money, and then it uses that money to, I guess I'm just, I can't really talk, I don't get it.
He gave the president the financial advice what to do. This idiot, he doesn't know how money works. You heard him. He doesn't know how money works. He has no clue how the system works. And he's there advising the president. And so we got into this terrible stagflation. This guy's an idiot, but he kept masking it till he couldn't mask it. Now, Trump came in and won because people felt it. They knew something was going on. They didn't know it was stagflation, but they knew it. They knew something wasn't right. But timing was perfect. Trump came in and won. We need him. He's the only one who can stop this because he's not a politician. He's a businessman. He knows how dangerous stagflation can be. So the federal government spending gone wild. Spending exceeding revenues. That's not good. So what do? You follow not fundamentals, you follow the money. I'll give you an example. Right before that, when we had that collapse Monday, and I told everybody, I told my gang members on that Monday, I said, don't pay attention to it because something's rigged here. Something doesn't make any sense. And I think what it was, they're trying to clean out the tourist investors. You get to a point in a market when you get so many, we're at the worst and most dangerous position in a stock market cycle. Complacency. When you have more tourists, they don't know what they're doing. They trade out of greed. They got to get in before it goes higher. It makes the market dangerous. It makes it upside down. So I think that was set up to purge a bunch of them, to scare them out. And it was interesting how we saw some of these stocks. I mean, for example, take like Meta. When Meta dropped Monday, and what's another one that dropped on Monday? Oh, GEV dropped on Monday. And I told everybody, don't get out yet. Don't get out. The stock dropped from somewhere around 435 down to around 315. I said they're going to run it back up. So I'm not saying you'll get all your money back, but you'll get certainly a good amount of it back, and they have. And I told my gang members, to start taking profits now Friday, because they got probably more than half of their losses back on that. And again, we don't have a sell signal yet, but the sell signal is getting closer and closer. Okay, on our Pro 2 color-coded charts, getting closer. But isn't it interesting how these stocks went crazy? VST was another one. Look how big that dropped. It dropped from 192 all the way down to our 133. But it never broke its pattern. That's one thing when you're a trader, you got to understand what a pattern is. And if it breaks the pattern, it'll keep going down. If it doesn't break the pattern, it's not going to keep going down. It's called a head fake. And it didn't break its pattern. And my Pro 2 pointed out, and every candlestick on Pro 2 remained green. So I said the same thing. I said, if you're in that stock, with that announcement, don't get out of it. Stay with it. It's going to come back. And it did. Came back about 3/4 of the way. So I told them today, now's the time to take most of all your money out now, because you got most of it back. Okay, if you want to keep a few shares on, fine. And UNG gas. Now gas is interesting. We did very well in gas. We made about 20%, I think, in gas, the return on gas stocks. And now it's a very volatile stock. Okay, and so if UNG breaks $15.20, then start selling it short, because all these oil stocks are going to get hit. The oil stocks are really getting weak, okay? They're really starting to get weak, the oil stocks. And I have them right here. We had banks. Here we go. We've been short XLE. It's called on our Pro 1. It's called a swing trade. We just finished our swing trade. Did pretty well. It went from around $93, our swing trade, down to around $87. But we haven't continued to, we took our profits today. We haven't continued to short it because our Pro 2 is still green. When our Pro 2 turns red, we'll sell it short. So we did good. I told everybody that oil was going to start dropping because it's drill, baby, drill, baby, drill. First of all, China's economy is so bad that they don't need oil. And they're the one that sucks up most of the oil. And secondly, with the drill, baby, drill, the smart money knows that we're going to be, floating in oil. So that's why oil prices are coming down. We also did a swing trade on XOP. That one's finished. That one went from about 145 down to 134. Now, we're ready to go on our next phase of shorting on our Pro 2. Okay, but it hasn't turned red yet. But all these oils, we were right about the oils, and we caught some beautiful short positions, and we're going to get more. The other, what we were right about, too, was the banks. All the bank stocks rallied, okay? Why? Because everyone associates high yields with, hey, I better get into the bank stocks. So everybody was jumping out of the tech stocks, which do not like high yields. They took their money, rotated out of tech, and they put their money into the bank stocks. Now, if you were with us and you were a gang member, you could see that on your Pro 2. You haven't got to know about fundamentals. Trailing PE, forward PE, price to sales, price to book, return on assets, return on equity, all the crap they tell you, right? You don't need to know any of that. All you want to know is money going in or money going out, and the Pro 2 tells you. So we were dead right with the banks, and the banks continuing to go higher. But these banks are going to start coming down again. They're going to start collapsing, these banks, because high yields don't help banks. Yes, from the point of view, they help them where banks go borrow Fed rates real low, and then they mark their money and they sell at the high end, so they make a lot of money. But the defaults are getting really, really bad, okay, the defaults. So we did very well with our bank stocks going long. Now we're going to go, now we're going to get short them, just like we did with our oil. We made a lot of money going long oil. And then we on our swing trades, and then now we're shorting them. Let's see. Leisure stocks usually like low rates, not high rates. Yields are going to keep going up. We bought ALK. We've done fantastic with ALK, Alaskan Air. That keeps going up. Now, Carnival Cruise Line and NCLH, those two did well too. And they really spiked up in one day. And if you're listening to me, if you're in any one of those, you should be selling into those now. You just got a gift. When they spike up like that, that's when you sell into them. Unfortunately, 99.9% of people get in at the very top. So it spiked. It went from $26.40, okay, up to around $28.40 in one day. Everybody jumped in at $28.40, and now they're going to start losing money. It's going to start going against them, okay? So anytime you get a gift like that, because they're not going to do well in a high yield environment. CCL is coming down now. CCL is coming back down now. So when you get those big spikes like that, you're going to get hurt if you chase them. So what do? Well, do what we do. Follow the money. Look at Walmart. We're doing terrific with Walmart. We're doing terrific with ALK. We got a lot of bank stocks. We always do well because we follow the money. So join our gang, check it out, free for 10 days, and we can help you. See you on the charts.
You've been listening to Phil's Gang with your host, Phil Grande, on the Off the Wall Street Radio Network. Off the Wall Street Radio Network. Remember to visit Phil's website at philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com. Or call the office, 877-600-4264. That's 877-600-4264.